This is Georgia Southern Football 90, featuring the defending NCAA National Champion, Georgia Southern Eagles. This program is brought to you by Team Baden Isuzu. We are the competition. And by Atlantic Cellular. It's for you, Savannah. Now here's your host, Bill Edwards, and Georgia Southern University head football coach, Tim Stowers.
Good evening again, everyone. Welcome to Georgia Southern Football 90, the Marshall contest coming up. And Coach Tim Stowers, you looked last week like a man who had 1,000 pounds taken off his back, and I must say that I've never seen the team in better spirits.
Well, we played a complete football game. We played well on offense, we played well on defense, we played well in the kicking game. Not to say that we're where we need them to be at this point, but everybody came together. We had our 14 seniors provided the leadership that we needed, and we were ready to play, and we weren't going to be denied last Saturday. We made some things happen. We made some things happen in critical situations. Now the big test is going to be, hey, we're going to play Marshall in a very hostile environment. They've got a 19 home game winning streak. They just came off a big win against Furman. The big test of any football team is whether you can win on the road, and that's going to be the big key this weekend. Whether it's easy to do it in Paulson Stadium, can we do it at Marshall?
You mentioned the winning streak. We have been known to go in and break some folks' winning streaks before. This has been a tradition of this team.
I think we broke Nevada Reno's winning streak, Northern Iowa's winning streak. I remember those two in particular. It would be nothing better to come back with a win from Marshall. I'll take 2-0 right now. It doesn't really matter to me.
Let's talk a little bit about that contest, because they come off that big win against Furman, and it is traditional that when they have, they may be calling it their greatest win ever. And it's so difficult to make it to get that emotional high 2 weeks in a row.
Well, you can look at that two ways. You can see, hey, that was a big conference game. They were emotional. They were at an emotional high. Coach Donnan had them ready to play, and they came up with a great win against Furman. Now, you can look at it from the other side. Well, Georgia Southern might have been at an emotional high against Northeast Louisiana. Now, can we get up again this week? And we've got to. They've probably got the best collective group of skill players that we've played this fall. When they put it all together, they can be dangerous. There's several players on their football team that they can really make something happen. They can go the distance if you get the ball in their hands at the right time. Now, on defense, they were playing a 4-3 defense, very similar to ours, and they were a very attacking type defense.
Okay, well, let's go out and win one. Putting two together back to back would be a real shot in the arm for this team.
Well, we really do, Bill, and we're still digging ourselves out of the ditch, and we're going to find out what kind of character we got this week.
Okay, we'll take a look at that character in the first half, the highlights of the Marshall game right after this. It was 27 hours before kickoff as the Eagles worked out at Fairfield Stadium in Huntington, West Virginia. And running back Carl Miller explained in graphic detail what to expect for the next day's game.
Hey, look at here. We gonna get busy, baby. We gonna get busy. We're going to be like a pack of wild dogs, baby, just going out to kill somebody. CKD, crush, kill, and destroy.
So there you have it in a nutshell. The scene shifts to game time. Marshall facing 3rd and 10 from their own 36, but when quarterback Michael Payton dropped to pass, Darius Dawson fired in unscathed to drop Mr. Payton for a 10-yard loss. Both teams proceeded to exchange punts, and Marshall went back to work, and the Eagles did their best to help out. On 2nd and 10, Michael Payton swung one out to tailback Orlando Hatchett, who cut through the Eagle defense until Kevin Whitley could stop him 11 yards later at the 39. Then the Eagles committed 2 face mask penalties in 3 plays that helped move the ball up to the Southern 35. On the next play, Payton didn't need any help. Looking like he'd studied Raymond Gross training films, Payton rolled right, followed some excellent blocking up front, and made 18 yards before Jim Mutimer could bring him down. Then Orlando Hatchett took Payton's pitch and made 13 yards. Two plays later, Hatchett sliced off right tackle, and Marshall was up 7-0. Georgia Southern special teams continue to improve, but none like the kickoff return squad and Carl Miller, who took this one at the 10. Cut to the outside and raced 40 yards up to midfield. Now, this drive seemed to have all the earmarks of point production. A 2nd and 16 pass to Terrence Sorrell got 18 up to the Herd 38. And on 3rd and 10, Raymond Gross fired to Carl Miller out in the flats, and Carl turned upfield for 9 more. As you watch this play develop from behind, notice number 25, Darrell Hopkins, with a great upfield block that got Carl another couple of yards. It was less than a foot to go for the first down and time for a 4th down gamble. Lester Efer got the call and somersaulted for the necessary yardage, and it looked like it might be in the cards. But things didn't quite work out that way. On 4th and 4 from the 20, Mike Dowis, usually as reliable from that distance as a tax hike, aired. But even tax hikes have taken a beating this week, and Dowis' kick drifted harmlessly to the left. Still 7-0 Marshall. But if the offense was leaving a bit to be desired Saturday night, the defense was not. Michael Payton's first down pass intended for Eric Enott was foiled by Mark Giles. And Giles' quick thinking on the next play also stopped a promising draw as the first quarter came to a close. When the second period started, the Eagle offense was still struggling, but again, special teams continued to shine. Punter Terry Harbin shows why the pros should be taking a look at this young man. This was typical of Terry all night. Good hang time and perfectly placed to give the Thundering Herd all sorts of logistical problems, and it did. On 3rd down and 2 from their own 15, watch number 96, Steve Buceletti, a junior out of Gainesville, stripped Michael Payton of the football, while middle linebacker Mike West, a senior from Roswell, recovered, and the Eagles were in business at the enemy 18. But the results were not exactly what Southern had hoped for. What transpired next was a comedy of errors beginning on 2nd down. An ill-advised pitch to Joe Ross went haywire, and Ross was fortunate to recover. And on 3rd and long, Raymond was blitzed, losing another dozen. So Terry Harbin came back on to punt it away, but hold the phone. It was Marshall's turn to make a faux pas. The Thundering Herd had too many men on the field, gave Southern the ball back with a first down. Still, the Eagle offense looked like it needed a shot of vitamin B12. On 3rd and a dozen, a pass to Carl Miller didn't connect, so Mike Dowis was called on again. This time, however, Mike was dead solid perfect to cut the lead to 4, 7-3 Marshall. And though the scoring was over for the first half, the Southern In-Hospitality Committee continued to look awesome. Steve Buceletti and Tim Brown decided to have a quarterback sack seminar 11 yards behind the line of scrimmage. In fact, it was becoming the Steve Buceletti show. Watch him fight off a block here while he and Patrick Parr team up to drop Glenn Pedro in his tracks.
Yeah, our coaches came up with a brilliant plan. You know, our linebackers and defensive ends were just changing blitzes, and, you know, it worked well. I think we had 6 sacks.
It has to be a great boost for you guys because not only the big win last week, but coming up here, winning in a hostile environment, coming from behind the way you did.
Right. To prove that you're a good team, you got to go on the road and beat a good team, and we did that tonight, so hopefully we got some character.
Some character is an understatement. You ain't seen nothing yet. But first, a boost from Southern Boosters. Meet Frank Hook at intermission. There is nothing to boost morale like taking the second half kickoff and driving for the go-ahead score. Carl Miller, with a run-of-the-Miller 40-yard return, gave Southern great field position. And then on first down, quarterback Raymond Gross on a keeper followed some super blocking up front by center Rusty Parrish and guard Miguel Ayub. With an outside block from Darrell Hopkins and a little speed from Raymond, he was off on a 23-yard gallop through the herd. And a little too much extracurricular activity by defender William King outside the boundaries tacked another 15 yards on it, putting the Eagle Express in business at the Marshall 22. It took only 7 plays from there. On 3rd and 9, Carl Miller, having a whale of a night, got the necessary yardage with a pitch to the outside. And on first down, fullback Lester Efer nearly broke it up the middle, but got 5 anyway. And on 3rd and 5, Carl Miller carried the mail again with that bread-and-butter pitch to the left side for 7 yards, 1st and goal at the 2. Miller was simply superb Saturday night.
It was a great effort by both teams on both sides of the ball and everybody in the kicking game. We realized when we went into the locker room that we got to pick it up. We got to play a little bit harder, play a little bit nastier, a little bit meaner, because they were playing nasty and mean, and the fans were speaking nasty and mean. So they had the winning streak. We had a lot of things going against us, but we went in there, and when we came out, we knew we were going to win.
Good pitches tonight on the option. You were making some good yardage outside and good returns too.
Yeah, I did my best. I ran hard. Marshall has a very good defense. If you show some of them plays in slow motion, I took a lot of punishment tonight.
I was going to say, you took some shots.
Yeah, I did. They have a very good physical football team.
It was up and over from there. Joe Ross making the dive to pay dirt, and the Eagles had their first lead of the night, 10-7, when Mike Dowis added the PAT. The Southern defense didn't let up either. Guys like defensive back Kevin Whitley showed it was no more Mr. Nice Guy as Peyton fired to Brian Dowler, who wished he'd dropped the ball much sooner. Whitley leveled him, and the pass fell incomplete. Later, pressure from Mark Giles forced Peyton to throw the ball into the Georgia Southern bench, none of whom, by the way, were eligible receivers, and intentional grounding was called. Then on 3rd and 3, just inside Eagle territory, Peyton was dropped when Michael Berry came in from the left end while Tim Brown and Gift Smith pursued from the rear. But what would a game like this be without controversy anyway? Marshall punted to the Eagles. Rodney Oglesby unwisely went after it and couldn't control it. He did, however, wisely fall on it in the end zone. Of course, there were about 17,000 fans on hand who wanted a safety, but in order to have a safety, Rodney would have had to have control of it, and he clearly did not. But trying to reason with irate football fans is like trying to tell an erupting volcano to calm it down a little, i.e., it ain't going to happen for a while. With the Eagle Express running out of gas at midfield late in the 3rd stanza, the thundering herd started coming right back at the GSU visitors. On 2nd and 8, Michael Peyton fired to flanker Pedro Clark, completed the 40. And on the ensuing play, defender Jim Mutimer arrived long before the football got to Eric Enid, and an automatic first down for the herd. But relief was only a play away as Peyton tried to go deep to Clark again. He was well covered, and number 10, Mark Giles, the junior free safety from Warner Robins, skyjacked this baby at the 17 and made a nice return back to the 35. All right, Mark, the jinx has been broken. Now, you always said every time you made a great play that we didn't win the ball game. You made a great play tonight, and we won the ball game.
You know, the whole time in the 4th quarter, I was standing on the sideline thinking, every time I play good, we always lose. And I got on my knees and prayed a little bit, and I think God came through for us tonight.
To the 4th quarter, the herd began to thunder some more. Glenn Pedro up the middle for 10. As the herd began to stampede, they got a break. Orlando Hatchett was stopped cold by Darius Dawson in the backfield, and Giff Smith came up for an assist. The official decided Giff had come up too late or could defy physics and stop. Either way, it cost 15 yards. And on 1st and goal from the 9, the Eagles put on one of their best goal line stands ever. Peyton tried to pass to Ricardo Clark in the back of the end zone, but almost had it picked off by Michael Berry. On 3rd and goal, it looked grim for the Eagles as Peyton went rolling out again, firing to his man in motion, Brian Dowler, who broke one tackle, and only Michael Berry saved the TD again. But on 4th and goal, Peyton tried to roll out once more and found nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Tim Brown, Patrick Parr, Giff Smith, Steve Busaletti, a regular who's who of GSU defenders, stopped him for a 2-yard loss.
We had to have it. Somebody made the play. We've been talking about making the plays in critical situations. That's about as critical a play as there was during the night. And the defense came up with a big play and held them out. Held them out of the end zone. Unfortunately, we couldn't knock them off the ball well enough. We had the ball on the 1-yard line in our power eye to be able to get the first down. You know?
Awesome goal line stand. I wasn't in there the last play, but I tell you what, we work hard on goal line during the week, and sometimes we stuff the offense, and evidently it pays. We stuffed them today, so felt really good on defense. Offense complemented defense, defense complemented offense.
But this one was far from over, sports fans. It was time to pull out that portable defibrillator just in case as the herd came thundering upfield again. Peyton went deep to flanker Ricardo Clark, who'd split the Southern defense, and the pass was right on the money. A 37-yard strike to make it 1st and goal at the 1. A second goal line stand was too much to ask. On 3rd down, touchdown. Glenn Pedro made it 14-10 Marshall. It turned those defibrillators up to whoopee. When Southern got the ball back, it was no dice. So Marshall got it again with 4:18 to go. The Southern defense put to the test once more. On 2nd and 4, Glenn Pedro had the ball stripped from him by Tim Brown. The Eagles couldn't get it, though. On 3rd and 7, Hatchett could do no better than 3 before Giles wrapped him up, and the Cardiac Kids got the ball back with 121 seconds to play, and the Eagles executed the 2-minute drill with the precision of a neurosurgeon. The blocking up front superb as Joe Ross ran for 1st down yardage, stopping the clock. A roughing the passer penalty moved the ball to the enemy 36, and with 70 seconds to go, a pitch to Darrell Hopkins on the right corner got 12 more yards, down to the 24. That stopped the clock again. And after Ross got 6 more to the 18, Gross did his dying seconds magic once more. Finding a hole off the right side, he got all but a single yard of it, and there was still 42 seconds to play. On 1st and goal, it was Alonzo McGee jamming his way into the promised land, and the Eagles, ever the flair for the dramatic, had used but 91 seconds to rally to glory. As partisans prayed, now it was Hold'em defense, and did they ever. It seemed only appropriate that Steve Busceletti would run down Michael Payton, force a fumble, and Curtis Gordon would recover, assuring the Eagle victory. Afterward, Raymond Gross, Joe Ross, and Steve were elated.
If you're a quarterback, you kind of want that type situation. The game coming to, can be decided in the last 2 minutes. And, it's something that'll make you better. And, our offensive lineman did a great job, in the crunch. And, this is the type of thing that you want to happen. You want to come out of here with a win.
Just totally incredible. What a morale booster for especially the offensive line. Since all year everybody's been, hogging on and how bad they are. But, to show up and make this, like a 60-yard drive to win the game, it just shows so much character.
That fourth and goal, we stopped them, and then they came and drove and scored. I just had a feeling we'd come out and win, though,
And Coach Stowers will have a final comment in a moment.